This manuscript explores life, death, what lies beyond, all through the lens of classical physics. And through the previous sessions, we have laid the foundation that establishes the scientific basis for the evolutionary milestones of our energy selves. Now, let's take a step farther. Let's evaluate what could be a proper use of life while being in the form of human energy self, and how that proper use of life aligns with the science oriented foundation that we have prepared. In our one of the previous sessions, we described the exact meaning of integrity in the context of our energy self. The process of integrity internalizes various different forms of energy inputs. While all of that comes from our environment, some of it are internalized through breathing and diet, and some more of these energy inputs arrive as influence energy. So, a damaged process of integrity would usually show up as an inability to accept and internalize energy inputs, resulting into conflicted behavior, frequent and persistent health issues, insensitive outlook, compromised moral character and values, strong negative biases, revengeful actions and self justifications, and damaged self integrity. Now, unfortunately, the repercussions of damaged integrity of an energy self is that it creates a lasting negative impact throughout other stages of life, unless it is corrected. Degraded integrity in the energy self, but with improved intensity, would lead to misdirected and conflicted intensity. And that in turn could trigger social harming or self harming behavior. Due to the unpredictability of the character, the person may or may not pass through the subsequent maturity stages. And if the energy self remains low in coherence and harmony, the ELF beam form would not be able to sustain long in the Earth ionosphere cavity. Alternately, if the person does pass through the subsequent maturity stages, degraded integrity with intensity would hamper the development of coherence due to conflicted and guilt ridden identity and biases. And that could lead to damaged coherence. In the ELF beam energy form, decoherence prone ELF beam would be susceptible to destructive interference and substantial attenuation, leading to unsustainable presence in the Earth ionosphere cavity. And lastly, degraded integrity with conflicted intensity and damaged coherence remove the possibility of achieving harmony. And low level of harmony leads to disturbed presence of energy self during its existence in the Earth ionosphere cavity. In a nutshell, degraded integrity has severe and lasting negative impact on the energy self. And it must be corrected in whichever way possible. The signs of improved integrity is to have a healthy and positive presence, well-developed moral character and values, sensitive and helpful outlook, and person exhibiting high self-integrity. However, improved integrity doesn't assure improved intensity of the energy self. For several reasons, the intensity development could be impacted, and in such cases, improved integrity with degraded intensity of the energy self would usually lead to have a fragile character. Low intensity could make less willful, less determined, and low spirited energy self. And if this is not rectified in the subsequent stages of maturity, the ELF beam form would end up having low intensity, which would lead to somewhat less durable presence of energy self in the Earth ionosphere cavity. Having said, energy self with low intensity but improved integrity could still achieve suitable coherence during the course of maturity. And enhanced coherence could introduce possibility of rectified intensity in the process of maturity. Higher degree of coherence could nullify a certain extent of the negative impact of low intensity in the ELF energy beam form. Low intensity energy self with high integrity and coherence with improved harmonization could overcome the low intensity limitation for energy self altogether, but mostly being on the receiving side of the energy transfer in life and beyond. But it doesn't pose any obstacle to achieve all desired levels of harmony as needed. So now let's discuss the case where we have improved integrity, improved intensity, both. The signs of improved integrity is to have a healthy, positive presence, well developed moral character and values, sensitive and helpful outlook, person exhibiting high self integrity. And signs of improved intensity with suitable integrity would lead to strong and high spirited identity, person exhibiting strong will and determination, showing the ability to cope up with difficult situations. However, improved integrity and improved intensity may not assure enhancement of coherence. Coherence is an unique ability of the energy self. And if the energy self shows degraded ability to develop coherence, it would lead to identity that would be too much dependent on others' influence and involvement. Such person would show lack of self-reliance, low capabilities of independent decision making, and in the ELF beam energy form, less coherence leads to somewhat incoherent beam formation, and that introduces out of sync phases and losses. The intensity gets reduced drastically because of that. Low coherence energy self with high integrity and intensity could try to achieve harmonization as desired, but mostly being on receiving side of the energy transfer. The person with improved integrity would have a healthy positive presence, well developed moral character and values, sensitive and helpful outlook. The person with improved intensity with suitable integrity would demonstrate strong and high spirited identity, will exhibit strong will and determination, will show the ability to cope up with the difficult situations. Improved integrity, intensity, and coherence would lead to a strong and self reliant identity, high affiliation on independent decision making, exceptional leadership capabilities, and substantial capability to influence others. However, improved integrity, intensity, and enhanced coherence may not assure development of harmony. Developing harmony is an unique ability of the energy self, and if the energy self shows degraded ability to develop harmony, it would lead to an identity that is less inclusive, less collaborative, essentially creating individualistic silos in life and beyond. Less harmony would invoke less compassion as well. In the ELF beam form, reduced or no harmony leads to disturbed presence of energy self, during its existence in the Earth ionosphere cavity. So, what would be a perfect use of the life in terms of improving the energy self? A person with enhanced integrity radiates a positive and healthy presence, grounded in strong moral character, moral values, and a helpful, sensitive outlook while also demonstrating high self integrity. When intensity complements this integrity, they embody a spirited identity with strong will, resilience, and the determination to face challenges. Adding coherence to integrity and intensity further shapes a self reliant individual with a clear, independent decision making ability, exceptional leadership skills, and a notable influence on others. Finally, when harmony joins these qualities, the person develops an inclusive and collaborative identity, enriched with deep compassion and the transformative ability to evolve from an individual self to a collaborative force in life and beyond. And once the identity reaches to the perfection, the ELF beamform would always remain centered, would retain intensity, maintain perfect coherence, and harmonize to establish a perfect collaborative self. That's the ultimate goal to aim for and reach for. If you have followed all the previous sessions, you might be wondering, does this mark the end of the journey? The answer is both yes and no. The groundwork has been laid, but there is still more to build on if you are open to it. Let's dive into the idea of collaborative will. And if it calls for it, we will be back to continue the conversation.